Is it wrong to jam to your own intro?
We do it anyway.
Katie asked me just before we started.
Okay, but it's not going anymore, so you can stop.
It's going in my mind.
No!
Hey everyone, welcome back to another Tim and Katie live stream. I'm Tim.
I'm Katie.
And we do things like this every other Tuesday at 7:30 p.m. Walt Disney World time, as we like to refer to it, but it's actually Eastern time. Thank you everyone for joining tonight. I think it's going to be a little bit of a lighter attendance this evening because a lot of our regulars are predisposed. I know they're off on fabulous vacations in Orlando and other places, but we are so excited to talk to you guys, whoever is here. Drop a comment to let us know if you're here, if you're tuned in. We would love to interact with you. We have so much to talk about tonight because tonight we are talking about, I wouldn't say a controversial topic, but one that comes up often in our household and amongst all of our friends. And it can become a controversial topic if you get far enough into it, as we often tend to do.
I think there's camps of people that are skip the line people and other people that are not. And there's nothing wrong with that.
No.
It's just how you want to build your day. And that's totally fine.
Absolutely. Looks like, hey, Mandy's here. Welcome back, Mandy. It's been a minute. How you doing? I hope you're doing awesome. I know Mandy either she is still at Disney or she has recently returned to Disney, has started pumping out some Disney vlogs that we've been checking out. So
hope it was fabulous.
Good to see you. I think that's it for right now. If you guys are in the stream, in the comments anywhere, feel free to drop a comment. Let us know you're tuned in. We would love to interact with some people tonight because, as I say, we have maybe controversial, not the right word, a polarizing topic.
Yeah. I think coaster credits might have been more controversial.
Oh, for sure. If you haven't seen last week's live, that was the one that got heated because a lot of people have different opinions on roller coasters.
It was friendly
banter.
Yes.
What we are talking about tonight, guys, is, and you may not be able to tell from this image, we are talking about Fast Passes, Express Passes, Disney's Genie Plus, Disney's Lightning Lane, Hersheypark's Fast Track, what we are referring to very broadly as skip the line passes. I just threw the picture of the Express Pass in here because it's a widely known concept at Universal Orlando that you can use an Express Pass to bypass the lines. But we're going to be going through all of the parks that we visit most frequently and how those different programs work. And if you're not at all familiar with Express Pass, Fast Pass, Lightning Lane, Flash Pass, Fast Track, etc., this is a good live to tune into because it's going to give you guys a good indicator of what you can expect from going to these different places and whether or not it's worth picking up. Most of these are paid. In fact, I think at this point, all of them are.
Yes, I don't.
So whether or not it's worth the add-on.
I don't think a free one exists anymore.
Mandy is back from Disney. Oh no, your flight got canceled. Oh, we're glad you made it home. Wow.
Well, at least
you did get to stay another 2 on the back end and not, you
delayed
didn't get stuck
there.
Going out.
So
still, I know that sucks because we've been stuck at MCO before.
Oh, no. Well,
good evening to the Epic Adventure. If we've seen you around these parts before, you might have changed your channel name. If not, welcome. It's great to have you. And oh boy, Mandy, you vowed you would never buy Genie Plus. Used it the last 5 days. Or no, used it 5 days last trip.
Yeah, we want to hear about
even more of an investment.
Yeah.
All right, guys. So before we get too much further, please do make sure to follow our socials. The Real Tim and Katie on Instagram, Tim and Katie on Facebook. A lot of the information populates both places, so if you're following one or the other, you'll probably get it all. We also have a website, timandkt.net, where we're going to be posting a little bit more opinion content. So if you're looking for controversy, the website is the way to go. So let's dive on right into it. Skip the line passes, how they work, and are they worth it? Actually, real quick, Chad and Vanessa just popped in. They are in Disney right now.
Ah, so jelly.
Hey, from the monorail.
Thanks for tuning in.
We were
Go
looking
have
at their
fun.
Instagram feed. Please do follow Mandy, WDW, Through My Eyes, and Two Tickets to Adventure, Chad and Vanessa. Both are great channels, produce amazing content. Chad and Vanessa are in Disney currently. And I was just looking at their Instagram feed right before jumping on the live. They were at the Poly enjoying some order.
I think some
quick
takeaway,
service, yeah.
takeaway quick service.
So I was like, oh, there's no way they're going to tune in. They're sitting on the beach. I wouldn't tune in. Thank you for gracing us with your presence.
And have a fantastic rest of your
Yes,
trip.
have a fantastic trip. All right, so as we mentioned, skip the line passes. The idea is simple. You're paying to get a little bit further along in your day a little bit faster. When you go to a theme park, almost every theme park, I would say every major theme park at this point, I can't think of a single major chain or a major entity that doesn't have some sort of pay-to-play, skip the line pass. When you go to a theme park, you can stand in line in the standardized queues, which is what most people choose to do. And if most people don't choose to do that, these skip the line passes won't work. So it's an added fee that most people choose not to pay. But if you pay it, you can jump the line in some way, shape, or form.
Or get a shorter wait.
Yes.
You're not always guaranteed a walk.
Yeah, that's true. I should clarify. I don't mean
Yeah.
to say that you like jump straight to the front and then jump in
Your
the front
hour
row
and a
of whatever
half wait
ride.
could become 30 minutes.
Right,
or less.
depending on a couple things. And actually, I'm glad that you pointed that out because there's a couple different ways that these passes work. Every theme park kind of has its own system, but they all have a lot of things in common. And there are factors that play into how effective these things are going to be. So stick around, guys, because what you're willing to put into the day is often what you're able to get out of it. But different theme parks have slightly different systems and workarounds for their fast passes, their quick queues, their Genie pluses. Honestly, I keep bringing up Genie Plus. We could do a whole live just on Genie Plus.
I'm sure people have.
That's the most broken of all the systems. But anyways, so yeah, what we're gonna do is we're gonna go through like the top parks, the Six Flagses, the Busch Gardens and SeaWorlds, the Disneys, the Universals, the ones that probably are most widely recognized as big, long-standing brands. Now, smaller parks like Knoebels, no fast pass.
Mm-hmm.
You just do what you do, you get through what you get through, and everyone is on the same playable tier. There's no pay to play. So this is a way to get ahead at these parks that are typically busier, more broadly visited. And you don't have to pay for this. It's always going to be an add-on. But for these particular parks, after today, you might have a better idea of like why it's worth or not worth going in on this investment. So Hersheypark, I believe it's called Fast Track and Fast Track Unlimited here. Two different tiers. You can pay for Fast Track Solo, which is once per ride or attraction, you can jump to, well, I was going to use the wrong phraseology again. Not jump the line, but you can expedite your wait. Yeah. While Fahrenheit, which is a roller coaster at Hersheypark, may have a standing wait in the standard queue of 60 minutes. Your Fast Track may allow you to cut that down to 15 or 20. Yeah. And it's not guaranteed. Like sometimes, this is the thing about Fast Passes right away, right? If it's not done properly and if they sell too many of them, then you may have 30 people in the Fast Track line, 25 people in the standard line. And the way it should work is at the front, if the ride ops and the line ops are paying attention, or line attendants rather, are paying attention, they should be admitting some arbitrary number of quick queue, fast track, whatever people from that line versus a smaller arbitrary number of standard queue until the quick queue or the fast track line empties. And then they should begin letting in the standard queue people more frequently. And then they stop when the next person steps up the fast track and so on and so forth. So that's how it maintains a shorter wait. Hey, April.
April.
Welcome to the party. Thrifty Murdy Mom, everyone. I said
Murdy.
Thrifty Murdy.
Mom.
Thrifty Nerdy Mom.
You're the Swedish chef.
Herder.
The Swedish chef now.
Welcome to the show. All right.
Welcome, April.
So, thank you for tuning in, April. So basically, the way it works at Hersheypark is you have turnstiles, much like you do at Disney, where they will print, when you purchase Fast Track, it's a lot cheaper to do it online than it is to do day of, and it does sell out. If you choose to do it online, you will go and pick them up at kiosks or at guest services. Highly recommend the former. I've made that mistake before. And going to the guest services line to wait with people who are in like 7 different buckets of problems when you only really need that one quick thing that they can print you out from kiosk anyway. So they'll print you off a wristband like you see in the image. You scan that on the turnstiles, the little Hershey Kiss icon, and when it goes green, you board the ride. Easy enough, right? Fast Track Singular is once per ride. You can do that, and that's like singular, like Fahrenheit, you get to go once. Cup Fusion, you get to go once. And Fast Track Unlimited is as many times as you want per ride. Typically costs significantly more at Hersheypark than it does at other places. That is one big gap that I've noticed, is the difference between Fast Track and Fast Track Unlimited, because they know that some people just want to ride Sky Rush all day. And so they will make you pay through the nose to ride your favorite ride 15 times versus riding 15 rides one time. So that is a Hersheypark detractor, I would say, overall. But usually the Fast Track system works very well on particularly busy days. It's not as effective because a lot more people buy Fast Track, but the more expensive the Fast Track is, the less likely those lines are going to be backed up. Genie Plus. Lightning lanes. This is a new system. It's actually the old system with an upcharge, and the upcharge doesn't really make a ton of sense.
The old system, but digitalized and an upcharge.
Yeah, the pricing structure at Disney doesn't make a super lot of sense, and I don't know anyone who likes it, especially people who came from knowing the free Fastpass program where they used to give you the free passes. And Mandy mentioned a little bit earlier that she vowed she would never buy Genie Plus, which is their first step upgrade system. A lot of people feel that way. Genie Plus is very controversial right now because it used to be the free system that was nothing and then suddenly cost money. So it costs a static $15 per person per day to use Genie Plus. That allows you access to, I cannot remember the number, but like most of the rides in all 4 Disney parks.
Right. It's like what did they say? Non-fancy rides or whatever.
Well, that's Molly from All Ears.
Yeah.
Likes referring to them as fancy rides.
I like
the Lightning Lane.
I think it makes sense.
The Lightning Lane individual rides are the next step up, and those prices vary by the day. On Easter week, spring break week, you can expect that Flight of Passage, Rise of the Resistance, those top tier rides.
$15.
Well, that's the low end.
Really?
I think $12 is the lowest of the low.
Yeah,
$15
that's what I thought.
is the, but I think I've seen it get up to $17. It's ridiculous. So that's for one person, one time, one ride. $15 to $17 at the high end, which is
insane.
But
and
if
we've
you
done
only
it.
want to, yeah, we have. If you only want to do one ride, and that's why we did it. If you only want to do one ride, it makes a lot of sense to plan your entire day around that $15 you're going to invest, and then you don't have to buy a Genie Plus and do all the other 25 rides. You can just rate the standard fees for that. So there's logic to the platform. There is no logic whatsoever to the price structure, and that's just a Disney fumble, in my opinion. But again, we have paid for it. Fast passes in general, we have paid for at most parts.
What it takes away from the old system is that, I guess the second iteration, because the first iteration was paper Fast Pass and you got to be there in person to get it. And then the second iteration,
everyone has the same fighting chance, but you got to literally throw elbows.
And then the second one was the digital one where you could reserve them, 60 days in advance if possible. And then now we're back to reserving day of, but at 7 a.m.
7 a.m.
So there's no more sleeping in at Disney anymore if you ever wanted to. If you want to ride the rides you want to ride.
Again, we could be here all night talking about
Genie
just
Plus.
Genie Plus. It's not a perfect system. It needs a lot of tweaking, but it is a way to jump the lines. And we cut the Flight of Passage from 75 minutes down to maybe 20. That was a huge thing.
As people that don't live in Florida, and when we go to Disney, we do try to make the most of it. We have used it.
Welcome at Adventures with Timothy,
Hey.
who is a veteran of Busch Gardens Williamsburg. At Busch Gardens Williamsburg, which we will touch on, it is the Quick Queue, but it is, yes, very similar. And iNerd is here too.
No, not the. Oh, I must be talking about
fancy rides.
Fancy rides, yeah.
Not the cool rides.
Not the cool rides.
Yep. Rise of Resistance is a fancy ride. It does tend to get backed up. So if you really want to get on Rise of Resistance and you look at that turnstile, it's like a 360-minute wait, and you're like, but it's all I came to do. That's a lot of time you could be putting into other rides. It's easy to get sniped by the lightning lane system. That's why the individual lightning lanes, my opinion, very controversial opinion, I like the individual lightning lanes better because that's more a familiar concept to me. At Knoebels, you pay for what you want to ride. It's a ticketing system. Right. So if everything was individual lightning lane,
paid. I mean, if you don't have a season pass or annual pass, you've already paid X number of dollars to get in the door in the first place.
Yes, but you do that anyway at any theme park. That's what I'm saying. It's like the line system would work better if we only had Genie Plus or if we only had Lightning Lane. The fact that it's both,
I think
creates issues.
I think they should either ditch the individuals, which they're not going to do because they're making money, ditch the individuals, or make it unlimited, skip the line pass, and make it $100 a day extra. But anyway, that's just my
Mandy has a 120-minute rule. Set the alarm every 2 hours. So that is the other thing. When you book a Lightning Lane or a Genie Plus Lightning Lane, the verbiage is super confusing. The Genie Plus is tier 1. The individual Lightning Lanes are tier 2. So you pay for one or you pay for the other. You can pay for both, but they are distinct. So the fancy rides are what we're referring to as the Lightning Lanes, and the Genie Plus are the other 25 or whatever attractions that you can get to without paying for the individuals. With the former, the Genie Plus, you have a cooldown period. So you can book your first one starting at 7 a.m. And that's typically like you book whatever the next window. That's the other thing. You have time slots. That's what I don't like.
That's what I hate about it. You can't
just choose to show up. You have to choose to show up in whatever window.
And we've had it where they're like overlapping, like, and we have like 15 minutes to get to the next. Like, you have to count on like getting into your time slot early, the ride not breaking down, all of these things.
Ride break. We're not even going to talk about ride breakdowns.
We can't focus on Genie Plus all day because we do
have of Genie Plus.
Yeah, we do have other parks we want to talk about their systems.
Mandy's absolutely right. 120 minutes is when it activates the second. You can move your rolling pass to the next attraction. So you can have 2 Genie Plus attractions booked in solidarity. They don't have to be in the same window. They can overlap.
And actually, Mandy makes another great point here with this comment of that.
You can park hop with Genie Plus. So as opposed to the individual Lightning Lanes, you can, which again, the individuals you can book 2 a day across all the parks. 1, 2, doesn't matter where you book them. You can only book 2, and you can't book the same one twice. The Genie Plus, you can book anything in any park basically until the day ends or you run out of time slots. So with that rolling cooldown period, you can go in and you can grab the next available ride time for, like, I don't think anyone's going to Lightning Lane this, but I'm throwing it out there because it was the first thing that popped into my head. You can book Small World at 9 a.m. And then you can book Big Thunder Mountain if you're lucky at noon. And then you see Dinosaur pop up at Animal Kingdom. And that's at like 3 o'clock. You're like, I have enough time. So you can roll right over to Animal Kingdom.
And now thinking about that, it just makes me think they need to get rid of the you can only park hop after 2 o'clock rule. But that's
a whole other thing.
Whole another issue.
I swear to you, this is not going to be all about Genie Plus. We're just spending a lot of time talking about it.
It raises my blood pressure too much.
It's the most frustrating of all the systems. So there's a lot to talk about there. Stacking of reservations do work well at Magic Kingdom. Yeah,
if you can manage that.
At Magic Kingdom and Hollywood Studios are the 2 places that Genie Plus is most worth it. I would not recommend it for Animal Kingdom or Epcot unless you're only there for 1 day. But I'll touch on that too. Busch Gardens has the world's best tour guide. You skip the line. You pay for a VIP tour.
I think Busch Gardens has a pretty good skip the line system, and there's a bunch of reasons why I like it.
Well, Timothy's talking about tours.
No,
where you pay.
but
and
I'm
you get the
saying
quick
that's
queue
part
rolled
of
in.
but I'm saying like that's an offering
Yeah.
like it's another skip the line avenue that Busch Gardens offers.
I will get to Busch Gardens. I put this one in here first though, which is the Fast Lane Plus. This is Cedar Fair, and it's very, very similar to Hersheypark's Fast Track. You can do an all day that gives you unlimited, or you can do, which is the plus, or you can do Fast Lane Singular, which is once per ride. No time windows on this one. We're back to like the base, whatever you feel like doing, which I think is a much more flexible system. I understand why Disney needs something a little bit more rigid because they have a lot more attendance in probably much smaller parks, but still, I think it's a junky system. Fast Lane Plus is much easier to manage. Fast Track is much easier to manage. These are literally the same as Hersheypark, where you can pre-order or you can purchase in the park if they haven't sold out. There is a fixed capacity, and you just buy what you want to buy to jump the line. Now, the only place we've used Fast Lane is King's Dominion so far.
Yeah.
Because we knew we were only going to be there for one day, and we were trying to get on as many rides as possible. And I will tell you, it was not a good investment.
It was not a good investment that day. That's one thing to point out.
Well, I'm going to get to what you're about to say.
Oh, okay. He's reading my mind, apparently.
Yes. I do that sometimes when you've been very Anyways, yes. It wasn't a good investment that day because the weather rolled in and chased a lot of people out, and there were no lines anywhere. But I'll get to that in more detail. Flash Pass. I'm glad that Chad and Vanessa did make it tonight because I think they're the only ones that we know personally that have used Flash Pass. This is Six Flags system. This is also the same or a very similar system to what Universal uses in its Volcano Bay water park. They call it Tapu Tapu there. Same thing, basically. They give you a wristwatch, which allows you to punch in using that interface that you can see there. And basically, you are doing virtual waits. You're punching in at the beginning of the queue to say, I'm here, I want to ride this. And then they say, okay, your window is going to cycle around. And then they make you wait the length of the line, or slightly shorter than the length of the line if you upgrade, or slightly even more shorter if you upgrade again.
More.
Yeah.
Isn't it like Flash Pass plus or something? I don't remember the system.
The flashiest of passes.
The flashiest pass.
I don't know what the actual tiers are called, but yeah, you can pay to go like gold, platinum, silver, whatever, and keep upgrading. And yeah, it's not a bad system, and actually I think a lot of people really like the virtual wait because then they feel like they're not jumping. I mean, it's good to feel like you're not jumping the line. You're actually waiting as long as other people, but you're able to do it in your own way. You can go get a bite to eat. Mm-hmm. You can go wander around the park, do some shopping. You can get on another ride with a shorter wait in the standard queue while you're waiting for the big ride to open up a little bit. Hey, Jay. Welcome to the party. Jay has used Flash Pass. So probably at Six Flags Great Adventure, which is their formerly. I missed it so much. We miss you guys. They used to be Northeasterners like us, and now they live down in Orlando. My 2 tickets also said Fastlane Plus at Cedar Fair Parks is amazing if you're going for just the day or on a busy time. Yes.
Nailed it.
Exactly what we're planning to do. So yeah, and Volcano Bay Universal, the Universal theme parks do not use that Flash Pass or the Tapu Tapu, yeah. But the Universal Water Park Volcano Bay does. So that's kind of weird that they use 2 different competing systems.
I mean, my guess is they use the Tapu Tapu at the water park because it's like waterproof and you're not carrying around like a paper card.
True.
But I'm sure there's other reasons too.
Well, actually, let's move on because I will get to the paper card too. So, Timothy, if you're still in, feel free to
chime in on
the Busch Gardens SeaWorld. So SeaWorld Park and Entertainment owns both SeaWorld, Sesame Place, and Busch Gardens parks across the country. If you're a Platinum member, you can access all of them within the domestic United States.
But we've only been to 2.
We've only been to 2.
Well, technically 3.
They all use the same Fastpass system. It's called Quick Queue at these parks. The only gripe I have about Quick Queue is that not all of the parks, actually not all of the attractions to all of the parks, some of them were built before the Quick Queue system was instigated. And so you have certain rides that have clearly marked quick queue areas where you jump in the line and it's near the front of the standard queue. There are other rides where you basically just have to be told, oh, go around back. That's where we're loading
sometimes
quick
if they
queue
go to
today.
like the
or go through the ADA
accessibility,
accessibility. Yeah, that's where we're loading
entrance,
quick. So SeaWorld and Busch Gardens Williamsburg, I know both have that problem in varying degrees, but the quick queue system works really well. I will say that. It's at Williamsburg right now, you have quick queue, which is fast track. Same thing we've been talking about with Cedar Fair and Hersheypark. They have regular quick queue, which allows you to jump each ride once. You have quick queue unlimited, which allows you to jump each ride as many times as you want. And then you have quick queue plus Pantheon, which is suddenly $50 more expensive. No, it was $50 more expensive the weekend we went. I think it's dropped in price a little bit, but still, they're gating the most prized
when the
possession
shine
they really
wears
want to
off
control capacity.
Pantheon, I'm sure. Well, there's no need to crowd control it when it doesn't open every other day.
Oh, thanks, man.
Oh, Timothy!
Free tour.
One of our best tour guides ever.
I hope, and that applies to everyone watching the live, right? No, we very recently did a VIP tour with our friend Zoe from Wishing Mouse at Busch Gardens Williamsburg. Timothy was one of our tour guides. So if you haven't seen our most recent vlog from Busch Gardens Williamsburg, it's our St. Patty's Day video. A couple videos back, definitely go check that out because the tours there are awesome. And what we were talking about earlier, they actually roll a quick queue equivalent into the tours. You can jump the lines for any rides that your tour group decides is worth
able to. Probably can't get through everything in the 2 hours.
Oh no, you definitely can't.
But you can
4 hours
or 4 hours, whatever. I can't remember.
Yes.
It was so much fun. But yeah, you can.
You heard it first here, everyone. Timothy is offering you all free tours. Go see Timothy
at Busch Gardens Williamsburg.
Busch Gardens Williamsburg staff is great.
Yeah.
Jay wants to know if you pay for Tapu Tapu at Volcano Bay. You actually
I don't think
do not.
You think you do. They just want to control the crowd at the
Volcano Bay occupies a significantly less widespread footprint in the Universal Park. And it's smack in between a couple different hotels. So in order to keep people from backing up like the stairwells to water slides and stuff,
Tapu Tapu also be unsafe.
Yes, it's just a thing that they give you when you check in to the resort. The park. So at Volcano Bay, you do not have to pay for Tapu Tapu. You do have to pay for Flash Pass at the Six Flags parks. So that's a good. I'm glad you pointed that out because I might
clarification there, Jay.
I might not have thought to put that on my own.
And that's a good point too from Chad and Vanessa, that if you have a platinum pass for the Busch Gardens SeaWorld parks, you do get one free quick queue per visit. And so that's like one skip the line per visit.
In general, I would say
probably doesn't apply to Pantheon right now, but one day it will.
I would say that SeaWorld and Busch Gardens offer you the best value for quick queue.
Yes.
Their system is very streamlined. It's, as I say, it's a little bit cluttered for attractions that weren't built around the existence of this program.
And
but
they're also
other than that,
really good to like their members. I can't remember from the other tiers, Timothy, from Adventures with Timothy, if you know, but I know as platinum members, but in addition to like the one quick queue a day, you get, I think at your like home park, which ours is Williamsburg, you'll get 50% off or 25% off. What was it?
Of tours?
Of quick queue.
Oh, 50%.
Yeah.
So 50% off quick queue, 25% off tours, which includes quick queue.
So not only are you able to get quick queue, but you get a discount on it, which is, I don't know what other parks offer.
It's significant.
A discount, because I know Hershey doesn't care if you have a season pass or not. Their quick queue's the same no matter what.
Well, that's not actually true. Hershey just this year, as part of their 2022 offering, began a program for season pass holders only, and only king size and full size pass holders, where you can get an annual Fast Track Unlimited.
Okay.
Here's the thing.
Is it more than the pass?
Holy God. It's almost $1,000 per person to be able to jump the lines, but it's unlimited. Now there is, okay, listen. We'll get into pricing structure
That's
later
like-
on. It's a lot of money. This is not a cheap investment. But if you go
Holy moly.
every weekend during the operating year, you will get like 5 times your value out of
I
that
might be
investment.
sick of Hersheypark if I did that.
I agree. We're not those people. And we go to theme parks a lot and we love Hersheypark. But yeah, we probably wouldn't go often enough to do
I would
so
not
that's
be
why
able
I
to make
wouldn't do it.
$1,000 worth it.
But
There's still like not a discount. That's not discounted. That's just
it
an
is
offering.
it is because you can only buy it as a king and full
I
size, and then
don't-
like because it's significantly lower than buying the 125.
Yeah, every single day. But first of all, as we know, every single day it's not worth it. Every time that you go, depending on when you go.
I'm gonna hide the screen
And
because we're not talking about SeaWorld right now.
Also, it's not a discount. It's just an offering. There's nothing discounted about it.
Right.
But anyway, more to say that we're team quick queue at the SeaWorld parks
Yes,
because
I agree.
I think that's probably my favorite system.
Chad and Vanessa say if their home park was Cedar Point, they would definitely think about adding a season lunch. Yeah, Cedar Fair also offers full season fast lane. I'm gonna jump back and forth between the verbiage, and I'm probably gonna get a couple different
Mixed
labels wrong because they're deliberately similar, with the exception of Quick Queue, which was a nice. There again, SeaWorld breaking the mold, coming up with a better title that's harder to get confused with other parks. Anyway, but yeah, Fastlane is not a bad system at all, and it's a lot more cost effective than Hersheypark, honestly. Again, we love Hersheypark. Their fast track system is just out of this world expensive, which is why it works a little bit better. Speaking of things that work
on
a little bit better.
super busy day if you want to ride a lot. If you don't really want to ride a lot, then don't bother.
Speaking of things that work a little bit better because they're so stupid expensive, Universal's Express Passes. I'm going to be honest with you. We are Universal Pass holders. We go to Universal
a couple times a year.
I would say 3 to 4 times every year. Probably not this year because we're doing a little bit of travel elsewhere that we haven't done in past years. But in 2021, I think we hit Universal 5 or 6 times.
Well,
and we
that
stayed
was
for
when
a couple
that was
different
when I
days.
was like, we are going back. We need to be pass holders at this point.
Well, that was after the second visit.
Yeah.
We were like, if
was
we
like,
don't
this
buy
is-
passes, we're wasting all of them.
Yeah, this is silly.
Anyway, so Express Passes at Universal, as you can see, this system is not new. They have paper passes. They still operate with paper passes, which is why it wouldn't work super well at the water park. Tappy Tappy's waterproof. It's a watch system. It probably is going to work much better on water slides. But these paper passes are Express, Express Unlimited, Express 1 Park, Express 2 Park, and you can keep plugging and playing because they have 2 parks, and you can do a park hopper, and you can do, I think the highest tier is Express Unlimited 2 park hopper.
Yeah.
And those particular tickets, which I'm going to be totally honest with you, we have purchased those tickets before on the basis of we don't know how long it's going to take us to get through everything. That was a waste of money.
And the worst part was we were staying at a resort that already gave us
I was going to get to
Express
it.
Pass
I
benefit.
was going to
and
get
we
to
were
it. Hold it together. I'm going to get
No.
to it. So,
It hurts me still.
we threw away, the reason Katie's upset is because we threw away probably about $400.
Ah!
It was a lot of money. So this is why I thought this would be a good live topic, because we gotta prevent
Learn from our
we
mistakes.
gotta prevent future us's.
Do not waste your money.
Express Pass, okay, to be clear, Express Pass is an amazing system, works very, very well. And I see a nerd just right on board with this too. We always get the pass for at least 1 day at Universal, and we get it early. That is what to do. The Express Pass, if you're going for, let's say, 2 days, right? And you want to be sure you get on
everything.
Forbidden Journey and The Incredible Hulk, and not at this moment Velocicoaster or Hagrid's, which are not included. Those are the 2 top tier attractions, Island of Adventure. But everything at Studios and everything else at Islands of Adventure is rolled in. There is no distinction between any of these other rides. If you get a one-time, you don't need the unlimited, my opinion. If you get a one-time Express Pass for each ride and you get a two park hopper, That runs you, I think, depending on the day, it's all day-based pricing, $150-ish per person. That's not nothing.
No.
And
if you got kids, it's a lot.
It's a lot. But I will say it's totally worth it because you can get through so much so quickly that you do not even need a third day in the parks. You can do 1 day of Express Pass. I know Nerd just said you get it at least 1 day. You can get 1 day, 1 ride Express Passes that burn through almost everything. And then you jump to the next park, you get through what you can. You come back the next day, you might not even need the Express Pass the following day because you might only have 5 or 6 things left to do. And then you can just wait in standard queues. You're not feeling an incredible rush. It's a good investment. Where we messed up is, number one, we got the unlimited, which meant how many times are you really and truly, be honest with yourselves, how many times are you going to ride Harry Potter and the Forbidden Journey? Probably once. You're probably going to do it once, and you're going to be like, that was the coolest thing ever. All right, we got to go do Kong right now, but we probably will come back and do this later. You're not going to come back and do it later. There's so much to do. There's so much overwhelming stimulation everywhere. You probably will not come back to Harry Potter and the Forbidden Journey on this trip, let alone to come back and do it the same day.
The only thing you're gonna do is get in the line for Hagrid's again, despite the fact that you did it this morning.
And they don't have they don't have a express lane.
Yeah.
So
don't get unlimited.
So don't get unlimited would be our first tip. And number 2 would be if you stay at a Universal Premier Resort. That is to say, Lowe's Sapphire. No, not Sapphire Falls.
Sapphire Falls.
Not Sapphire. Sorry. Lowe's.
Was it
Pacific? Royal Pacific.
Royal Pacific.
I always drop the name of that one. Royal Pacific,
Hard
Portofino Bay, and Hard Rock are the 3 premier resorts. If you stay at any of those places, your room key, which has the name of that resort on it, is your unlimited Express Pass. It is rolled in with your admission to those hotels. You get unlimited Express Passes for every day. Every night you stay, you get 1 extra unlimited Express at the park.
That means if you check out at 11, you can go to the parks and you can still get unlimited rides as long as you want. Yes.
Chad and Vanessa.
Face palm.
True.
Yes, there are.
I will grant you that the 2 best rides in Islands of Adventure are not included in Express Lane right now. You probably won't see Hagrid's added for at least another year. You will not see Velocicoaster added for probably another 5 years.
But we have not seen Velocicoaster's line get very long.
It has a really high capacity. And Hagrid's does too, but Hagrid's is just so overwhelmingly popular with Harry Potter fans. So.
Yep. It's a family coaster.
Also, I nerd you, if you've been to the Orlando Informer event, that is one way. If talking of just skipping the line privileges, that's a private event. You have to book that significantly early, and you're basically paying for a 5-hour admission to the parks when no one else is there.
It's not. I wouldn't compare it to a skip the line. I'd say it's more like an after-hours, lower capacity event. That's what it really is. But it's an opportunity to have shorter lines for sure.
Yes. This is a good point too, and one that I didn't include in the rest of my diagram. Queues are sometimes the best part at Disney and Universal. I would say for both. Universal's Hagrid's queue. I know that queue so well at this time. I think I've ridden that ride somewhere around 14 times, which probably isn't a lot
compared to some people.
But I know the queue, like I've memorized the queue layout. I can tell you like 1 turn, 2 turn, 3 turn, 4 turn. We're in the egg room, we're in the trophy room, we're on the bus. But yeah, if you do the express lane, sometimes you bypass a lot of that. In Forbidden Journey in particular, you bypass a solid probably 40 to 50% of the
castle,
which it's fun to see those things. So if you're, not in a terrible rush, I would say it's worth waiting in the standard queue at least once.
Or if you've used your 1 times and you've got time at the end of your trip, go ahead and pop in the standard queue and have a look at Hogwarts. You can also ask, I think, just to do like a tour of Hogwarts and not necessarily get in the ride the ride if you're not interested in doing it again.
True. So. At the end of the day, or even in the middle of the day, you can walk the entire line and then just not get on the ride. But you got to wait. I mean, you got to wait in the standard queue. You can't just say, hey, I didn't get to see the bow truckles. Can you escort me to the bow truckle? No, they're not going to escort you to the bow truckle. No. But if you're waiting patiently in the standard queue just to see the standard queue, take it all in, take pictures, and then turn to the team member at the front and be like, I just wanted to see the queue. I'm not going to ride the ride. It makes me sick.
Yep.
Which in many states.
Yep. Definitely.
And poor Kaylee didn't handle Forbidden Journey well her first time either. I'm worried about her going back on Forbidden Journey, but that's a story for another time. More than 5 hours. Oh yeah.
Oh, for the
Orlando Informer does sometimes roll in the end. So officially their after hours event is 5 hours long, but they often roll in 3 to 4 extra hours at the beginning of the day while regular park traffic is there. You don't get the lower capacity, but you do get to do the.
We should do a live about after hours events.
We should.
We're gonna do that. Thank you, I nerd ya. because now we've got a new topic to talk about.
This is why everyone should leave a comment. It tells us what's going on in your mind, how we can help you.
Also, let us know when we're totally off base.
Let's talk about the factors that influence whether or not these investments are worth it. And speaking of investment, this is the first factor. So we've hit on some of the stupid high costs already. Hersheypark's all year fast track, $1,000 per person. It's not quite that, but it's very, very close to $1,000 per person. That is fixed. That is not date based. That is like one-time payment. You get it all year. Is that worth it? Maybe, but is that worth it if you have a family of 5 or 6? Ugh.
No.
No.
It's also like 3 times the cost of us to renew our pass.
Yeah.
So it's like, no.
Yeah.
I could pay for another season pass or annual pass for Disney for that price. Anyway.
Yeah.
But that's not the cost of the daily pass is what, probably people are most interested in.
Which is why I snapped this is from Hersheypark's back end as you're making purchases. This is for the Fast Track Unlimited, which you can see differs in price quite a bit, almost $50 from the base price of Fast Track Regular. So at its lowest, Fast Track Regular is $50 a day. But because it's date-based, the further along you get in the season, the more expensive it is. Saturdays are more expensive. Holidays are more expensive. So this, I gave you the pricing here for the couple of dates in May for Fast Track Unlimited on Fridays and Saturdays. See how it jumps. Like it goes a fairly consistent $95 per Friday, $65 on Sunday, except for opening day of Sunday, which is $95. And then suddenly, as you get further into the season in May, $130 for a Saturday. Again, for 2 people, as we often go to the parks, sometimes if we're really feeling like we want to get through 10 coasters today, and this is the other thing that I'll touch on, but compatibility, not every single ride is woven into Fast Track Unlimited the way every single ride is at Disney with Genie Plus and all that. Mm-hmm. So think about that too. But if we really want to get on 14 coasters this one day. Or we're
here with a friend who won't come back here ever again or maybe for a long time.
We'll just go in on Fast Track to make the day a little bit smoother. But $130, as we say, for larger families, 6 people, 7 people, 8 people, that's a lot of money.
Too much.
That's a lot of money. So think about, what you want to do that day, whether or not it's worth it to you. There is no right or wrong answer here. On the flip side, this is what I was talking about with Universal. I decidedly picked out like the most expensive pass I could find in this back end here. So this is Universal's Express system. This is for a 2-park, 2-day ticket. So you're spending 2 days at the Universal Parks in Orlando. You're hopping back and forth between the 2, which means you get to use Express on Hogwarts Express, which sends you back and forth between the parks. It's something that normal day guests can't do unless they have park hoppers. Then you get unlimited Express Pass that allows you to go through every single line as many times as you like. You're looking at $276 per day per person. So I had 2 people in my basket, which means $551.99 per adult, and only $5 or $10 less per child. That's a lot. That's an insane amount of money. Now that is 2 days, so you're getting
it's 2 days, and it is your park admission too. So it's not
that's
just to skip the line, but that's not including your food. That's not including if you're at a Universal hotel. It's a lot of money.
Yep, Genie Plus. I used it with a friend, 2 of us, $30 a day. I might use it less or not at all with my family of 4. Let me tell you guys, the Disney Genie Plus prices, because they are fixed, I didn't go and took a snapshot of them the way I did for these other 2. But the Genie Plus system, because it is at Disney World $15 a day per person, at Disneyland it's actually $20. But we went with my family, group of 5, including Katie and myself, to Disney for my parents' anniversary this past year. Because we knew that, everyone's getting on in age and it may not be possible to bring the entire family back to the parks again. We really want everyone to experience everything. We really had no choice but to go in on Genie Plus to make sure that we weren't getting held up in 2-hour lines.
It also helped because standing in a line all day, I feel like personally makes me more tired than walking around.
100%.
So that's where the knee and the feet pain comes from for me. So we have our parents with us or his parents with us. We wanted to keep them as fresh as possible for as long as possible. So having the Genie Plus and not standing in as long a lines definitely not only bought us more time, but it bought us more humanity.
And we are talking about $75 a day for our group. In addition to
those individual
and hotel and everything else we need to pay for. That's a significant amount of money. And that, when you're home, if you think about it logically, that's probably at least half of a grocery bill for the same size family for a couple of weeks. So it does add up. And Chad and Vanessa actually make a good point too about Disneyland. The $5 extra at Disneyland, the difference between Genie Plus in Disney World and Disneyland is that the $5 upcharge does give you PhotoPass. Walt Disney World does not roll in the, what's it called? Is it just called PhotoPass? I felt like it had a...
I think it's still photo. Oh, with Memory Maker is what they call it.
Yeah, that's what I was looking for. The Memory Maker you have to buy separate usually. You can, if you're an annual pass holder, you can get a pass tier that rolls it in, but
honestly, I think just for the way Disneyland is structured anyway, and it has it has a lot of rides. I think that $5 extra is not.
It's not terrible.
Doesn't make me so angry in itself. The Genie Plus
the Genie Plus system is broken.
It makes me angry.
That's the problem.
But excellent point there.
Yes, definitely. Next factor. Touched on this very briefly, capacity. Every ride has a certain capacity. It can accommodate a certain number of people per hour. It doesn't matter whether they're coming from the quick queue line or the Fastpass line or the Genie Plus line. In this case, this is Space Mountain and Disney World, or the standard queue. It can only handle so many people so often. In my opinion, the fact that Genie Plus is so, by the individual, is so inexpensive, $15 versus compare it to Universal's $150. There's a zero missing there. And that extra zero leads to lines like this. This is not our photo. This was actually taken from a Disney food blog article about how the Lightning Lane, the quick queue, the Fastpass, has backed up to the same extent that the standard queue has. Now, to be fair, before you say what you're going to say,
okay.
To be fair, the Lightning Lanes are designed to weave less inside. They are shorter objectively. So the same number of people standing in both lines, the Lightning Lane people are going to get through faster. But look at the number of people in this line and tell me that they shouldn't have capped this a little bit lower. So different parks are going to have different capacities. I would say that for a fast pass, a quick queue, or whatever to be as effective as it needs to be, they need to probably sell a significantly less number of them. Significantly lower number of them. My grammar fell apart there, or bump up the price, to prevent people from buying it out the wazoo.
But this, I think, also becomes a problem, especially at Disney, where, fancier park, more technical rides, and rides will break. And then when you show up at your 1 o'clock Lightning Lane and the ride is broken, and then you have to wait until 4 o'clock when the ride opens again. Now everyone that's had a Lightning Lane, which is
exactly what Chad
was down for 3 hours. Now everyone with a Lightning Lane in those 3 hours is in line now. We experienced
this too, because Frozen, we had an individual Lightning Lane for Frozen Ever After at Epcot, right? And that ride, we had a return window, which is another problem with the return windows, FYI. If the ride's broken during your return window, then they just say, oh, well, now you can return whenever. Well, guess what? If the ride doesn't reopen until the last hour of the day, guess where everyone's going in the last hour of the day? So yes, was this photo taken out of context? Almost certainly, I have a feeling that Disney Food Blog pulls a lot of photos out of context. That's on the DL. But this is a problem that recurs, and it doesn't just happen at Disney, by the way. This is an extreme example. It happens elsewhere too. Hey, Crystal.
Crystal, hi.
Welcome to the party. We're
Happy
talking about
Tuesday.
fast passes and quick queues.
Well, Fastpass,
And-
RIP.
Yeah.
Fastpass.
Hashtag one love gone but not forgotten. Anyway, so this is the capacity issue at work. You do have to kind of, I mean, it takes research, and that's unfortunate, to know which parks are managing capacity well and which parks are just throwing things against the wall to see what sticks. I feel like Genie Plus is in a very experimental stage right now. And I don't think people are like loving the way it's working, and it may be tweaked and improved, or it may be that we just get stuck with it as it is.
Yeah.
But I would still say it's effective as a fast pass tool that gets you to skip the lines. It's just not as effective as Universal's at a higher price point or Busch Gardens at a lower capacity.
I feel like they pitched it as a way to be less stressed about your Disney vacation, and I think it is so stressful to wake up and try to get as many lightning lanes as you can at 7 a.m. and try to, possibly to plan your day. So that's why I'm very kind of meh about it. Yeah. And we're trying to be like positive people in all things, but
we do. And I mean, it's not like we don't pay for these things.
Yeah, and we've definitely, we are, as I have said before, we are the target audience sometimes because we'll show up and pay for that individual lightning lane.
When I got on a plane, we were going to Orlando for our Run Disney, and at 7 o'clock in the morning on that day, I was sitting on a plane on a runway about to start taxiing. And I turned to Katie and I showed her, just got Test Track. We had to pay for Genie Plus, not individual lightning lane. You had to pay the $15 to get one ride because that one ride wasn't an individual lightning lane. And Katie looked at me with these eyes of just such contempt. It was like, why? Why did you do that? I was like, because I really wanted to ride Test Track today. She's right. Of course, you shouldn't have to pay $15 to ride one ride, but that's the system. So anyway, this isn't a dump on Genie Plus live stream.
It kind of is, but it's not formally.
Comparatively, it's not as good. Queue length. This is what broke us on our Cedar Fair day at King's Dominion.
Right.
When we purchased Fastlane. If the queues look like this, spoiler alert, you don't need a fast pass. Sometimes if you're absolutely determined to get through a certain number of rides, you really should probably consider going in on an express pass, a fast pass, whatever, because you can't possibly predict what the crowds are going to look like that day unless you have special tools, which I'll also get to use. Or unless you go to, as I nearly throwing out here again, Orlando Informer, which is a private event. You book a private event, you get access to all the attractions that are available at that event with minimal waits.
Yep.
That's a good deal as well. And I agree. It is an amazing event that everyone should attend. If you haven't checked out Orlando Informer, we have a vlog from Orlando Informer 2021. We did go in the winter event as well, but we didn't vlog that day because we were with family. So definitely something to think about. Mm-hmm. I think iNerdya has a couple of vlogs from that event as well, though I'm not 100% sure. Drop a comment, iNerdya, and let us know if there's a vlog we should check out from there. But yeah, if the queues are empty, you're not saving any time,
and
right?
You're not saving.
You're walking in your $150 fast lane at Universal here, but you're looking at the other queue and seeing no one walking along at a slower pace. It doesn't even feel good. It just feels like you paid $150 to use a different line that goes the same
side eye
way.
That you get from the people in the standard queue hurts a little more.
It does. And
because they know that they didn't waste their money.
If Velocicoaster and Hagrid's were woven into that right now at Universal, it would be way more worth it. Because they're always backed up. It doesn't matter what the day is. Although Velocicoaster moves a lot faster than Hagrid's. But there are some days where the rest of the park is totally open and accessible, and that's a waste of money. I'm just throwing it out there. Accessibility is the fourth factor, and this is what we're talking about when we say that Hagrid's and Velocicoaster are not included in the Express Lane. I told you I'm going to mess this up a million times. There's so many different names and labels. I know it does have an Orlando Informer, a couple of videos it looks like. So don't judge them, guys. They say the videos are not their best, but I'm sure they're lovely.
I'm sure they're very informative.
So Velocicoaster and Hagrid's are not included at Universal as of the time being. At Hersheypark, pretty much everything that's not a roller coaster or Cup Fusion is not included. Right. I think the carousel is also included now. But other than that,
and but there's some like kiddie rides where there's
if you're not a big coaster person, you should not buy Fast Track.
Yeah,
that is.
And
just
then
a given.
We did mention like at Busch Gardens right now, Pantheon is a separate tier of quick queue, but it's gonna cost you.
Yeah, and that's why I chose Pantheon as my image for this.
There, I knew it was coming.
Because I was just so flabbergasted by it.
Oh, we're covering it up.
I'll get us off. Don't worry, fam.
There you go.
There we go. So
this is Unlimited Plus Pantheon.
This is Quick Queue, and literally look at the jump. So Quick Queue once per ride, $50. Quick Queue Unlimited, $60. I'd still say that's a good deal. If you're a Platinum member, you get 50% off that. So $30 a person. That's awesome. Then comes Quick Queue Unlimited Plus, all new Pantheon. Oops a daisies, $30 extra per person. Doesn't matter how much you're saving, you're spending a lot more.
Which, if you're going to the park and you just want to do every coaster,
if you're going one day and you really want to ride Pantheon, you better hope that there's no wind.
You better hope there's no wind.
But other than that,
because otherwise the line gets really short. It just never moves. Because the ride doesn't open.
It gets so short.
I'm not bitter about it or anything.
It's not even a line. It's just a post where a line should be.
You get a good look at the sign.
So, all of these things taken into consideration, and bearing in mind that some Fastpass systems I think are more effective than others, there is a broad strokes recommendation we can give you as to when it's good to buy skip the line passes and when it's not. Velocicoaster is not included. This is a bad image. I realized that about halfway through this presentation that I grabbed this.
The confusion.
But forgive me, adoring public. But the wait time is what I wanted. So when I grabbed this picture off Google Images, which is what we do, by the way, none of these pictures are ours. The wait time is posted at 120 minutes. If you go to a park and you look at those wait times and you're like 120 minutes for one ride, probably worth buying Express Pass, Fast Pass, whatever. If it's that one ride that you want to do and all of the other rides are reflective of similar wait times, that is an absolute must buy in. I would say at Universal, we kind of touched on this. It's almost always worth buying Express Pass single ride. Once per ride, Express Pass is well worth the investment.
Especially if this is your once a year or once in a lifetime, or you've got the friend who's only going to come once with you trip and then you want to do everything. It's you will get your money's worth out of that.
Jeez.
Oh, dang.
One ride on Iron Gwazi at Busch Gardens, Tampa, it's $130.
No. It's unlimited with one.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. That's it's the similar with Pantheon, but with Iron Gwazi. And I will say Iron Gwazi is awesome ride. If you haven't seen our video, very short video, won't take you long to check it out. Definitely jump over to that one because that was a lot of fun. We got 6 rides in on that before we had to pay $130 for Quick Queue. But yeah, I mean, this is the point, is that if the park looks like this everywhere and you really want to get your day's money or your money's worth out of
money worth?
Kind of along the same lines, right? Express Pass, Fast Pass, Fast Lane, Fast Track, may be a good investment for you. Yeah. Genie Plus probably too. Individual lightning lanes, maybe that as well. But you gotta want it. Don't do it if you just want to do 3 rides and those are the 3. I would say it's worth waiting in standard queues for 120 minutes for 3 rides if they're the rides you really want to do. But if you want to be absolutely sure that you're going to get on 6 or 7 of your favorite rides and you're only spending a brief amount of time there, you got to go on Express Fast Lane. This is our favorite ride in probably all of Disney, Flight of Passage. That is a
Disney World,
minute,
not Disney.
Disney World.
Everywhere.
400-minute wait. Just to be clear, that is not 400 seconds. That is 400 minutes. So quick math on that. That's significantly over
3 hours, right?
3 hours is 180 minutes. So it's actually
Yeah.
almost 7 hours. Is that a realistic wait? Probably not. Disney does inflate wait time sometimes, but it's going to be more than a 3-hour wait. I think Mandy had a good idea earlier on, like way earlier on when she jumped on. Scrolling through. 120-minute rule.
Well, no, but that was for
I know.
setting Genie.
I understand, but I'm saying 120-minute rule made me think of this.
Oh, yeah.
If a wait time is more than 2 hours, you gotta really want to get on that ride and really want to not spend the money, or you should just spend the money.
That's our thoughts on it anyway.
Yeah, that's what I think.
We're a family of 2. That's something
It
to
is
consider.
more cost effective, yes. Kaylee, welcome. Don't worry about it. We love you for showing up. It's awesome.
We've had some great
Flight
conversations
of Passage
so
is
far.
also Kaylee's ride. When not to buy. When Universal looks like this. Don't buy. Exactly what I was talking about. Like
Low crowd days.
When you buy early, I do recommend buying early if you're only going to spend 1 day there, if you want to be absolutely sure that you have it covered, because a good Fastpass system will sell out. If it's not selling out, it's a bad Fastpass system. If Genie Plus is still accessible to anyone who wants it at 3 in the afternoon, I'm sorry, it's a bad system. They need to cut down on the capacity to make sure that the people who are showing up in X time windows are actually getting on the ride in 15 minutes flat.
If it's a heavy crowd day, if it's a very light crowd day, it could still be reasonable to get it later. But if it's a busy holiday, spring break day, Genie Plus should sell out.
Yeah, and Disney is the only one out of everything we've mentioned that has time slots to show up in, except for, I guess, Flash Pass, but that's virtual wait. So you choose your own time slot.
Right.
You go and you tap in at the front of the line, and then it tells you.
You say, I'm waiting now. Right. You don't come back.
So I wouldn't even really consider that in the same bracket. Universal, Hersheypark, Cedar Fair, all of these ones, they let you plan your own itinerary. They let you pick when you want to show up, and they let you jump the line at that time. If Universal looks like this all over, I'm sorry, you're making a mistake buying Express Pass. If it's worth it to you to buy early, you run the risk of it looking like this. And so it's kind of on you to figure out, whether or not there's going to be a huge crowd that day based on previous trends. And it's a lot of homework, and I don't think it's fair. But that's why we have wound up being those suckers that buy when we don't need them. We spent $400 we didn't need to on Universal Express Unlimited passes when, as Energy points out, you get the Express passes for free if you stay at a premier hotel.
And early entry,
can
cut down your wait times too.
Yeah, Chad and Vanessa make a good point. This photo is taken before the park opens, but I just used it to illustrate that.
We have seen this is Hogsmeade.
This is Hogsmeade at Universal Orlando.
But we have seen Diagon Alley and studios look like this during Halloween Horror Nights. No one is going in Harry Potter.
And Orlando Informer, as we keep touching.
Yeah.
Also very empty. It's an amazing experience to be in Hogsmeade when it's empty like this. You will probably never see it.
Doesn't happen almost ever.
So to this end, I mentioned if you have the proper tools, which usually cost a little bit more, you can predict what crowds are going to look like. I use personally isitpacked.com and touringplans.com to try and predict crowd levels and see whether or not it's worth it to buy. Now, these are not infallible tools. It's impossible to predict how many people are going to wake up the morning of, except for at Disney where they have the reservation system and you can't always get in. It's impossible to know how many people are going to wake up that morning and be like, I'm going to go to Knott's Berry Farm today. So these are not infallible or perfect systems by any means, but they're good estimates. They've been pretty accurate for us in our planning so far. Isitpacked.com is actually free, but it doesn't cover everything. It covers a lot of Southern California theme parks, and it covers Hersheypark, weirdly, out in the middle of nowhere, and a lot of Six Flags parks. So if you're going to any of these places listed, Hersheypark, Universal Hollywood, Knott's Berry Farm, Cedar Point, or Six Flags, they do cover Disneyland as well, but I have a better resource for Disneyland. Any of those, isitpacked.com is a free resource that gives you a good indicator of what the crowds are going to look like. And I will absolutely go in line with Chad and Vanessa here. Weather is also a factor.
It's hardest to predict in advance.
If you see a day that Is It Packed is predicting will be a pretty full day, but you know there's a thunderstorm inbound on that day, it's likely that crowds are not going to be as bad as they're predicting.
Or they'll thin out very quickly.
That is the best case scenario. Like if it's predicting rain and you say, you know what, I'm going anyway, and then you show up, you're with everyone else who said, you know what, I'm going anyway, which is a much, much, much smaller bracket than you might think.
Yeah.
And if the weather clears suddenly, you're there with those people and those people alone, and you got a lot more park to access than you were expecting to. So that's a really good day. But in terms of like the average day, I would say Is It Packed is a good resource and pretty accurate. For Disney and Universal and Disney Cruise Lines, touring plans. It's not free and it's not particularly cheap. I guess in comparison to Genie Plus and everything else we've been talking about, it's pennies on the dollar. But I think I pay $7 for Disney World to have this crowd predictive technology, and I think another $4 for Universal Orlando. And then I think it's another 4 to 5 for Disneyland and DCA.
Now, tell them, is this per year? Is this
per year? Yeah,
okay.
Sorry, this is annual. So this gives you, which is not a huge amount of money in the long run, but it is annual. So it'll hit you again and again. You'll lose access if you don't pay. This is all crowdsourced. So these guys at Touring Plans, they have their own YouTube channel, by the way, so you can check them out as well. But they go into the parks every single day. They have employees that go and they crowdsource information. They say the posted wait is 40 minutes, but the actual wait turned out to be 25 minutes. And then they'll have 7 people do that and they'll average out the time so that you get the most up-to-date information. This allows them to predict not only what's going to happen that day, which is fed to you by app, but it also allows them to predict what is probably going to happen on a similar day next month or next year. And these calendars give you things to look out for too. Cinco de Mayo and Mayo. I just pronounce everything like Hayu.
His energy today is somewhere else.
Gradventure at Universal Orlando, which I hadn't even heard of until I saw this calendar, by the way. These are things that I wouldn't know without looking. So this is huge in trying to plan out what is going on at the Orlando parks and the California parks. I use this all the time. This actually helped us plan our family trip because I was deliberately trying to target like a 4 out of 10 week.
We wanted Christmas time at Disney World without
but we didn't
Christmas
want Christmas crowds. And that was hard to do. It was hard to do. So I know just heading out. Thanks guys for tuning in. Peachy Baby Slime video coming.
That sounds amazing.
Go check out I Nerd Ya.
Have fun with that. Thanks for chatting.
You are welcome, Kaylee. We are happy to
share the
And then she trolls me. So anyways, yes. These are invaluable resources in trying to predict crowds and figure out when you should go. And honestly, we keep inputting a little bit of Touring Plans app into all of our Disney vlogs, and then we keep cutting them for time. So no one knows we use these resources, but we do every single time consistently. So this is really, really good. And yeah, Mandy brings up Touring Plans has a reservation finder as well that helps out. They're really our full service system. So they're really, really reliable. I like them a lot.
Yeah.
But again, Is It Packed will cover a lot of the SoCal parks and all of the Six Flags, Cedar Fair, Hersheypark. They're a little less predictive, but they're good, accurate estimates, or at least they have been for us in the past. So, knowing that, final stretch here.
Oh, skip the line. I was like, what is STL? It's late, guys. It's
8:30.
It's my bedtime.
Oh my god. Who skipped the line passes hell. No, it is not. Unfortunately, it is only Tuesday. That's the shortcoming of our lives. Out-of-state visitors, I would say, benefit greatly from skip the line passes for the same reasons, right? You're going once or maybe once in a blue moon.
Yeah.
You want to be sure you get on that one ride that you really like, but maybe 3 others also. Investigate the options. See who skip the line passes are best, whether or not it's a good investment for you, based on all this information we've been feeding you: crowds, capacity, accessibility, so on and so forth. Good for single-day visitors who are coming from out of state. That's what I meant by single-day visitors, to clarify. I don't mean like if you're an annual pass holder who lives down the street. That's not a good use of your pass.
I mean, if you're a local that only goes to Disney or Universal once a year too, maybe it's worth it to you.
Really worth it to you.
You just put it all in on one day.
Right. I don't know. Maybe.
I don't judge what you do.
I think probably the next bullet, large groups and families, is probably a more broadly accurate assessment.
Large groups and families, if you can budget for the investment.
It is a significant investment. But the reason I put that one in there, if you are a single or even a duo like Katie and I that come to the park and you're not pressed for time, a single rider can jump through a single rider line in most parks. Not all attractions, not all parks, but usually there is a single rider option that allows you to get through the queues faster at those big capacity parks.
And Hagrid's has a single rider line.
You just don't get to choose the bike ever.
Yeah, and so does Velocicoaster. So sometimes those like really popular rides will have a single ride, and Test Track has single rider options. So,
boy, does Kaylee know you.
Yes, my webtoons. It's webtoon time.
Also, Chad and Vanessa, bringing in the good points again. People do that all the time in Facebook groups, which is why they're bringing it up. Yes, I have seen that several times in the Hersheypark Facebook groups I'm a part of. But visitors with must-do rides is my last category. Again, which is what Katie was saying, if you're a single-day visitor who's only going, even if you live down the street, but you're only going that one day in a span of 6 months, because that's the day you decide to go, or maybe you're going with a friend who's never been there, you got must-do rides, almost certainly. So if you really want to get on those rides, you can buy a $15 Genie Plus day for Test Track.
Yeah. And I would say...
And your wife shouldn't judge you for it.
No, I still judge. I mean, I went on it, and it was fun.
I thought you were going to continue.
I was going to say something else, but
like you had more to say.
What I was going to say, because I did sound like I cut myself off. I was going to say another bullet point I might have added to this is it really, you do have to have the budget for it. So it helps people who decide it's worth the price and in their budget for their trip.
Yes. Meanwhile, does not help single ride, basically all the things we just said. Doesn't help local visitors who are going every day. Doesn't help single riders who can use single rider queues. Doesn't help casual guests who don't care what they get on, what they don't. And it certainly doesn't help non-riders who are only at best going to be able to exploit something like Quick Queue at SeaWorld and Busch Gardens for VIP seating at Celtic Fire
or like
and the shows.
Meet and greets or something.
I could see it being valuable there, but at Disney, not worth it. Universal, not worth it. If you're a non-rider, you do not need a Fastpass. Even if you think you might not ride as many rides as everyone else, I would say don't invest until you're there. If you catch the bug and you want to get on 5 more rides because everyone else is going on them, fine. Buy Fastpass. Pay probably a little bit more that day because it gets upcharged on the day of, but otherwise it's a good investment still. But if you know you're not going to ride,
just be there for the ambiance. Listen to those area loops.
Kay said she made friends with a mother and daughter in the Tower of Terror line. Posted it 1 hour. It was actually 2. That sucks when it's a longer line than it's posted for. Called for a party of 3. Raise your hands fast.
That's perfect.
Yeah, you can always make friends in the lines too. I mean, it's not like you can't. If you're a single rider, you can figure out with other single riders who's going to sit on the bike and who's going to, I mean, actually not, that's not true, because a single rider is always going to be plugging a hole for non-single riders.
Yeah.
But you get what I'm saying. Like single riders can.
I mean, you have paired with a single rider and then given them the bike.
That was a act of generosity on my part because the guy told me he'd never ridden before. And I was like, no, that means you have to have the bike. I cannot in good conscience allow you to take the sidecar. Hagrid's is great, guys.
Yeah.
I'm glad you came to our TED Talk. This is the bottom line, and it's something that Katie
I
already
did
mentioned.
mention this. I
This
suppose.
is our go-to, our guiding light for when it is good to buy a Fastpass. When you have more money on hand than time. That if you only take away one thing from the live tonight, when you have more money than time, Fastpass totally worth it. When you don't, or when you would rather spend the time doing something else, or when you
or
have
the money doing something else.
forever time.
Yep.
Yeah. Sorry,
you're
the
at-
money doing
If
something
you're
else,
at
or
Disney
forever
for
time.
2 full weeks and you can take your time doing
If
every
you're spending
ride,
more than probably, I would say, 7 days at Disney, do not buy Genie Plus or Lightning Lane.
yeah,
You
or
can
at
wait
least,
out anyway.
or maybe like Mandy said, like a day of it, or maybe that was, I can't remember. I know just
5
said
days. What she
that
said.
she used it for 5 days, but if you're there for 2 weeks, you probably will get through everything. Just take your time.
It's gonna
Man.
be fun.
That's a dream.
Gonna be fun. Yes, that is the bottom line. Time is money.
Dollar, dollar, dollar.
All right, guys.
We're wrapping up.
We're wrapping up. This week's Creator Spotlight, Rainbow Disney Girl. I think her name is Natalie Lopez on Instagram, if you aren't able to find her by her tag. But she is a cast member at Disney's California Adventure. She's been really fun to follow for us. She's very funny, and she shares very funny things, but she's also very Disney-oriented and shares uplifting things a lot that kind of add a little spark to our day. So we really appreciate her. Raven Lee is actually on hiatus right now from YouTube. She's still on Instagram, and she has a lot of YouTube videos stacked up, which have really been fun to burn through. She's been really supportive of our channel in the past, and once again, I feel like we never do enough for the people who are very supportive of us. So we appreciate everyone.
She does a little bit of everything.
She does.
Lots of adventures.
She excels at spooky, which is why we vibe with her. So during the Halloween season, expect her to be very busy. She loves Halloween Horror Nights. She's actually inspired a couple trips that we're looking at taking in the future, things that she's found in the New York area. Spooky. So stay tuned. And then, of course, our friend Christina from Read Pray Disney, who is not terribly far away from us, and with whom we may do a proper collab in perhaps the Busch Gardens area or the King's Dominion area in
hopefully
the months and years ahead. But in the meantime, has a ton of awesome Disney content. Really loves pins if you're a pin collector. So she's super into pins, books, and she's doing new series right now.
What is Parks and Planning?
Parks and Planning.
Christina, I messed up your intro.
Parks and Planning.
Parks Planning books. There
We love Christina.
She is the sweetest.
Definitely check her out. She's very sweet. All of these people are worth your time. Definitely check them out. And, oops. I was going to say check us out too and show you the social screen, but apparently I forgot to put it in. So.
Nothing.
So these are not scripted. These are just roughly outlined. I have to throw a little curveball in every once in a while. Our next installment is going to be on May the 3rd. I'm going to leave it right now as a surprise because it's probably going to revolve around a trip we're taking in the next week and is probably going to have a lot to do with some other people. And I don't want to ruin all of the content that we have ahead.
I don't even think I know what it is. So it's a surprise for me too.
You do? You're just not registering it because it's past your head. So we will be back again in exactly 2 weeks' time for another live stream. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. If you are not subscribed, if you are just finding us, welcome. We do more than just live streams. We also do vlogs, and we have one vlog coming out this week, one vlog coming out next week, and then a cavalcade of other vlogs coming out from a trip that is upcoming. So stick around. We do theme parks, resorts, haunts, and nature sometimes, but mostly the other three. I'm Tim.
I'm Katie.
And
every day is a new adventure.
At least you remembered that part.
I'm not that tired.
Not that tired. I've been that tired sometimes. Thank you guys so much for tuning in.
So good to hear from everyone.
We will catch you later. Good night.
Bye.